Hello YouTube! Welcome to another episode of Coleford Plays Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. My name is Coleford, this is Danganronpa. Last we left off, we were stuck in the trash chute still. Back to the trash chute we will go. With our good buddy Kyoko, who jumped on to save us. Question is, what do we examine down here? Do we talk to Kyoko again?
However,
what was going on in the rest of the building? Oh, Mukuro Yugasaba. I was like, what is she talking about for a second? Who did kill her?
anyway,
What I can say for sure is the mastermind is directly involved. To begin with, the point of the class trial of Mukuro Yugasaba was to get me killed. Really?
indeed.
It stole that key and disappeared, and in retaliation they wanted to draw me out and eliminate me.
Correct.
That was the whole point of the class trial. Yeah, I can eat that.
That's right.
With minimal restrictions, you are free to explore Hope's Peak Academy at your discretion. And that is a rule. I'm going to unpop my collar. Go back to regular collar, cool. Blue collar, cool. The mastermind themselves is somehow bound by the school regulations.
Hey,
There was a point where Mukuro may not have become the victim. Could have been you, Makoto? I could have become the victim?
indeed.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh. The footsteps of the Shinigami. Footsteps of the god of death. That ability naturally draws me into cases just like this.
Anyway,
Which is exactly what happened with you. I was in the dorms and I had a sudden sense of dread, and I looked down the stairwell. I saw a white shadow across the corridor. A white shadow of death. Gave chase right away. As I followed it, I saw the shadow go into your room. I hate this. I hate this picture. It's horrifying. Ran into your room and saw what was happening. Intervened immediately, of course.
however,
Wasn't the end of things. I stopped them, but that led to whoever the masked assailant was. They ended up dead.
correct.
And their murder was disguised, and the dojo key wound up in my room. All had to be the work of the mastermind in an attempt to use the class trial to eliminate me. Whoever killed Mukuro is also the mastermind, right?
Indeed.
Don't have conclusive evidence, but that's what I think. That's really bad if true. It means the mastermind can kill whoever they want if they feel like it. Hasn't that kind of always been the case, though? The mastermind wanted to use the class trial to kill you because they couldn't interfere, right?
Correct.
It's not just Mukuro. They needed the class trial to kill me, but seemed ready to kill you in your room. Everything they did is a contradiction. So what does it all mean?
In other words,
It means the mastermind is the one who's been cornered. Ooh, we're getting close.
Makoto.
Just a little more. A little more, and I should be able to figure out the mastermind's identity. We there? We endgaming? The identity of The other ultimate despair. There's 2 ultimate despairs? There's no doubt that Mukuro was the ultimate despair and that she's dead. I don't think the ultimate despair is just one person. Ooh! That's a bit of spicy info. If you think about it, the ultimate despair seems to implicate whoever caused that event. You're talking about
That's right.
what happened a year ago. The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The tragedy. Whoever's responsible for that. They're the ultimate despair.
It would seem...
A despicable group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. And they're...
Indeed.
Make no mistake. They're the root of all the evil that has forced us to go through this. That is the ultimate despair. And that is our real enemy. Chapter 5, 100 Mile Dash, Pain of a Junk Food Junkie. The end. 6 remaining students, no one knocked off yet. To be continued. Receiving the Dream Island rocket present. The ultimate despair. A group of people who caused the tragedy 1 year ago. The same people put together this killing game again, broadcasting it around the world. The most desperately awful group of people ever. That is the Mastermind's true identity. Our enemy has finally been revealed. But right now... Right now we have to get out of this horrible place. Figuring out the rest of the story can come after. We have a way to open this door. Does Kyoko have a key? Monokuma's secret tool you got from the headmaster's room?
Indeed.
It's an absolutely vital part of ensnaring the mastermind. I would never part with it. You can open any door in the school, right?
That's right.
Correct. Should be able to use it on that door, right?
It's true.
Freedom!
Indeed.
Get out of here, let's go. Sounds good. Quickly opened the door and made our escape from the garbage pit. I wonder how everyone else is going to respond to seeing us. Probably going to be, like, absolutely flabbergasted, I hope. Because of the real fight. Chapter 6. Ultimate pain, ultimate suffering, ultimate despair, ultimate execution, ultimate death. Ooh, deadly life. We're jumping straight into deadly life? Shit. After leaving the garbage pit, we found ourselves in a tunnel extending straight up like a chimney. There was a metal ladder leading up into the tunnel. We started climbing the ladder, intent on reaching the surface. The ladder was impossibly long. I couldn't even see where it ended. We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey.
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. Now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off it. So, Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it this way. Then is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Huh? But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So...
Right.
Because we take pride in it.
Indeed.
Pride. A detective is neither light nor shadow. We present neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that we have to stand separate from the rest of society. which is why we made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. Conscious
It's
effort.
true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational, but it's our family creed, so we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains. She hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family. That does kind of slay, actually. It's badass.
However,
I gave up some of that pride. Huh?
I
In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
what?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh. But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However,
There is something I want to say to him, though. What?
I
No matter what it takes, I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
so
I want to sever all ties with him. Badass. Sever. The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented, had a promising future,
however,
but he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died, and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather, and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Jurna! Hello, hello! Thank him for leaving me? Because like him, I take pride in the work I do. How you doing today, Jurna? I take pride in my family name. Guys, the schlong has appeared. Where is sauce? Where's buns? It's a ball. It's a schlong and balls stream right now. Ooh, Michael plays spike ball if the rain lets up. It's raining where you are. It's been bright and sunny all day where we are. Very hot indeed. Oh, you're fine, Jurna. You're busy. You got a life. We just gotta chat sometime. Life updates, you know. I gotta fill you in on all the deets. One thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So
The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind, like I said. I think it was a good thing. But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. Aww. That's how they even see me to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow. That's why I have to find him and tell him we're no longer family. In order to settle the past. In order to remove him from my life forever. I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family, to just cut him out like that.
wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey,
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that, I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. As you should, Mikoto. Don't butt in. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence, and after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. I wonder where this is gonna like boot us out in Hope's Peak. I wonder if we're gonna even be like outside of the academy.
indeed.
Looks like this is it. On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash? Oh, I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. Okay, so my question's already been answered. I unlocked it earlier, so it should be open without much trouble. Here goes nothing. Reach my right hand up and push against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so Looks like we're back. So shouldn't the mastermind at this point panic? Like seeing us both pop back up in the trash room? What is Monokuma going to say about this? Like, are we going to get re-executed? Can he do that? Can he re-execute students? I don't know. But these are the questions that I'm desperately looking at for answers to. So now what do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course, but if the mastermind finds out, I'm worried about you too, that you helped me, so they might...
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then,
Let's just get a concrete answer.
in other words,
There you go. Let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with you escaping.
however,
If we try to hide, there's only a matter of time until we're found out, and it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. You're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now. Don't worry, what you think is going to happen isn't. Because the mastermind is the one that's ensnared. You said something like that before. What does it mean?
So,
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was.
right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. Hey, King Alien, how's it going today? It would be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. Still a little, super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we? Quiet and calm again today? Very nice.
Shall we
Monokuma
go?
should be in the gym. Let's get going. Alright. To the gym we go. Monokuma, oh Monokuma, we got some questions for you.
Well now.
Hey. Kyoko, I don't mind so much, but Makoto's supposed to be dead. What's he doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay? You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do? If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate, but that is the rule. Now I gotta punish you again, and this time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko, do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However,
Before you do, let me just say one thing.
no.
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that that matters to you, right? I lose? You, explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
Because,
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the Blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position, one person would protect another like that.
right.
And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the Blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of desperation. No, more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter Ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that would come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro. You did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the Blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talking big game. You're saying the Blackened is me and not Makoto?
Well,
And you can prove this, right?
Well,
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence.
That doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time, I guarantee I'll find some. No matter how deeply you try to bury it, there's only ever one absolute truth. And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type?
Because...
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair you love so much to inspire.
However...
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
Indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince. If you were to execute Makoto right now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Oh, she's appealing to the fans!
Indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course, you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'd be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square,
we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice. So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Mukuro's trial over again. What? Only this time you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one
This
last
time-
showdown. One final battle between hope and despair.
Is this it? That would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? Is this the I'm like, oh my god, I'm tearing up a little bit. A fair trial, one last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the identity of Mukuro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. Is this the last trial? No one say anything, please, but what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Barry?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. Now, what you suggest might be plausible. It would be certainly make for one honey of a climax.
In other words,
Does that mean you accept?
Guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree to your terms. Will your hope win out, or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one final grisly showdown. He agreed. But we still have a shot at this.
Bear it!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely a fitting end.
You guys!
So for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right. Every last mystery that's pawing around the school. If you can do that,
Barely
then that'll be enough to
myself.
qualify as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good. Then let's bear it all. If you can claw your way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this school,
Guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all of that, we'll all face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how all this has turned out. But before we get started, I want to clarify one more thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when a class trial is
What's
held?
wrong?
I remember that for sure. So what?
Hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And that's a true statement? You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations, and having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that. Mukuro's trial is no exception, then it's a part of the school regulations, which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro... It's a very polarizing approach, I know. Okay, but enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak Academy since this killing game began are those 16 students. What?
Listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why'd he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now
I'm done talking. I've got nothing left to say to you. Why is he being quiet about that? So get lost, would you? He seems emotionally unstable. Leave me alone. Get out of here. Okay, I'm going. You're really gonna let me go? I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment overflowing with despair.
Hey.
Come on, Makoto, let's go. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you. Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. Yeah, true. But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they? They had no choice but to accept it. Huh.
Because...
It's all because of that one moment the mastermind let down their guard, like I said. So when was it the mastermind let their guard down? That's what I'm curious about, too. What Kyoko's referring to. I wasn't there to hear it myself, but you do remember what the mastermind said. They said they'd hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
Listen.
And what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? But I mean, the actual idea of taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However,
And yet somehow the mastermind was able to do
in
it.
other words,
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
so...
They had to show the world something, no matter the cost. Us killing each other. They wanted to show the
It
world.
would seem...
The mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
In other words,
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other and show that off to the world. But why?
correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove a point?
Hey,
The outside world is a name for students of Hope speak, right? A certain concept. You're talking about hope, right?
that's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair, the mastermind wants the world to see that, to try and prove that despair is better than hope. That's their goal, is the ultimate despair. They want to prove that despair is better than hope? But that's ridiculous.
True.
You're right, it is ridiculous, completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Photo.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet, that same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weakness. What?
In other words,
Because their goal is to broadcast this killing game to the world, the mastermind had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the mastermind simply ignored the rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
at the very least,
At least that's how those who were watching this would have seen it. And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
indeed.
Themselves. No matter how much they hate doing it, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules when she was punished, but in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead, they also Mondo, too, when Mondo grabbed Monokuma. They tried to use class trial following all the proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, but then made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work. Yes, thanks to you. And due to that failure, the mastermind took another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And then that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world. The mastermind had to accept your suggestion. To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they have to defeat us in perfect form.
In other words,
It would only do the mastermind harm to have it shown that they'd violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the mastermind to accept your challenge? Well, it's only thanks to you that we got that chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much of the mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue. In the end, I couldn't prove any of it. It was essentially just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet. I can't read today. It looks like I got it right this time, at least. I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh, and I took it as a small sign of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell if you were nervous at all. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if I'd showed my uneasiness, that would have made you just much that. Oh my god. I'm gonna stop reading for a little bit. My reading is just falling apart at the seams.
correct. Hey.
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on.
However, anyway, shall we go?
Back to the dorms we go. Before we go find everybody, we're going to stop the video here for YouTube. YouTubers, if you enjoyed this episode of Coleford Plays Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc, please like, comment, and subscribe in the YouTube comment section located right down below. It means a lot to us whenever you do so. Your feedback, good and bad, goes to making these episodes the best possibly can be. We always appreciate hearing from you, what you like, don't like about the videos. Let us know down below. Other than that, have a great rest of your day. Take care. Be well to others. Be well to yourself. See you next time for more Danganronpa. Bye-bye.